14 minutes, you hear the sound. It's time to go to film school with my good friend Joe Fortunato. Boy, and I can't wait for today's film school. It's really one of my favorite movies. When I go back and I see this on all the time, I'll stop and watch, and I'm going to kind of let Joe take it from there. Joe Fortunato with us. Good morning, Joe.
Morning, Ray. Good morning, everybody. And this is a very popular film. It's a 30th anniversary of Apollo 13, which was released in 1995, June in 1995. So the anniversary coming up this month. Directed by Ron Howard, written by Jim Lovell, Jeffrey Kluger, and William Broyles, based on the book Lost Moon by astronaut Jim Lovell. And a great cast led, of course, by Tom Hanks, Bill Paxton, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, Ed Harris, Kathleen Quinlan. Wait, what an all-star cast.
Mm-hmm.
It had 9 Oscar nominations, including a nomination for Best Picture. Didn't win, but it did win 2 for Best Sound and Best Editing. And like I said, a whole gaggle of nominations across the board, including a nomination for supporting actor for Ed Harris and supporting actress for Kathleen Quinlan. This film was named, I should say, not nominated, as the 12th most inspirational movie by the AFI Institute in 2006. And the famous line, "Houston, we have a problem," was voted as the number 50 movie quote by that same organization, the American Film Institute. So a very a beloved film, very lauded critically, did very well in the box office. Its gross in the U.S. was $173 million and had almost double that in its worldwide gross. And when the real Jim Lovell, of course, Jim Lovell, a national hero as an astronaut in the NASA program, when he saw the film, he thought that the CGI worked so convincingly that he believed that the filmmakers had actually uncovered some unseen NASA footage. That's how much it worked for him. And of course, he's the expert in that. The cast and crew flew over 600 what they call parabolic arcs in NASA's KC-135 airplane. Many people will know that as the Vomit Comet. And that is to create weightlessness. That's where astronauts and pilots train in that particular aircraft. And so each of those arcs only produces about 20 seconds of weightlessness. And they had all of these flights in 13 days. So quite a few of those 20 seconds chunks of weightlessness for our cast and crew. In fact, Paxton, Hanks, and Bacon were very proud of the fact that they didn't get sick at all in the Vomit Comet. We can't say the same thing for some of the crew. Some of the cameramen weren't so lucky, and they lost their lunch, as I guess the nicest way of saying that. Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You paused. I thought, continue, my friend.
No, so when he was conceiving this, Ron Howard anticipated difficulty in portraying weightlessness in a realistic manner. And he actually discussed this with Steven Spielberg. And it was Spielberg, who was a big aviation fan, suggested they use the KC-135 airplane. So it was actually Spielberg who came up with the solution to that. Some of the scenes from where the Earth can be seen in the windows of Apollo 13 are actual photos taken by Jim Lovell when he was out in space, actually on the Apollo 8 mission. And again, to keep some of the realism there, the filmmakers actually took some of the lines in the movie directly from the mission transcripts. The mission control set itself was nearly a carbon copy of the original one in Houston. They wanted to film in the actual mission control room, which is now a historic landmark, by the way. But the original room was just too small to be used for film production with all the crew and the cameras and the lighting and stuff. So they had to take precise measurements and replicate it on a Hollywood set.
Joe Fortunato with us in Film School, Apollo 13. Now, Joe opened up by talking about this cast, which is just unbelievable. And we always like to go down that road, Joe, of casting. So give us the details of the casting.
Well, this is, ironically, this is the first feature film where Tom Hanks portrays a real person. And he originally, when he joined the cast, Jim Lovell, who he portrays, sent him a telegram that read, "Welcome aboard Apollo 13." And but there was a lot of potential, alternate casting. And like I said, we always like to speculate on what might have been. Tom Hanks actually turned down the role in Jumanji to do this film. Some other people that were considered for the role of Fred, which is played by Bill Paxton, John Cusack, Charlie Sheen, Michael Keaton might have been part of that crew. Brad Pitt turned down the starring role so he could do Seven. So there was a number of potential casting there that was kind of fun. In fact, Ron Howard jokingly referred to his actors as actronauts as a joke on the set. He had a lot of fun with that. Now, we talked earlier about the famous Houston, we have a problem, and everybody says that, and it's kind of one of those Mandela effect things that aren't exactly accurate. In reality, the statement was made twice. Once by Jack Swigert, one of the other crew members there, originally said, "Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here." That was the official quote. Mission Control didn't hear him, and he said, "Say that again, please." Then Jim Lovell, who's famously credited with the quote, said, "Houston, we've had a problem." So that was the actual quote. But since Swigert was garbled at the beginning, it's Lovell, his clear version of that is the one that is commonly used. However, it's so often misquoted as "Houston, we've got a problem," or "Houston, we have a problem." And that's what Ron Howard used. So he actually used the myth rather than the actual quote. And also because he said his rationale was, "We've had a problem" implies that the problem has passed, whereas "we have a problem" is obviously a little more urgent and current. Something they talked just to put a button on casting, Jim Lovell said that he thought Kevin Costner looked a little bit like him, but Kevin Costner was never cast in the film. And just a couple of other fun little facts about the film. The co-founder of Netflix, Reed Hastings, he claims that he had the idea to start Netflix after he had a $40 late fee from Blockbuster renting Apollo 13. So in some ways, maybe we can have Apollo 13 to thank for our streaming services. And then finally, after the premiere of the film, we all know that this is, or I guess if you don't know, this is based on an actual true story. This actually happened. But after the premiere of the film, Ron Howard asked audience members to write reviews of the film. Very common practice in Hollywood for screenings. While most of the reviews were positive, one review stated that there was no way the crew would have survived this mission, and this is just Hollywood nonsense. Apparently, that person did not know that it was actually a true story.
Oh, my goodness. What a way to end. It's a great flick, folks. Again, Joe and I talk about this every Friday. He really gets into the world of really good movies, and each and every Friday, I always tell Joe, I got to go back and watch that again. And he's intrigued me again. I got to go back and watch that again. So we'll certainly do that. Joe, what do you have happening at the website? JoeFortunato.com.
.net, actually. So, everybody go to joefortunato.net to see what I've got going on. The month of June coming up has a few items for you. So you'll want to go to joefortunato.net. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, and that's because it's a private thing through ASU's adult learning program, but I am doing a Fortunato Film School online on June 16th and 17th. It's a two-parter. We're going to be doing E.T. That does have a cost and registration, but I will put that information up on the website. It's not there yet, but I'll get it there before the end of the day. So if you're interested in doing an online Fortunato Film School with E.T., you'll want to check that out. And then locally and free on June 28th, coming up here in just about a month, actually, a little less than that, I'm going to be doing a lecture on Jaws' 50th anniversary. And that's going to be happening at the Green Branch Library Saturday, June 28th at 11 a.m. That's completely free, open to the public. And again, this is not a screening of Jaws, but we are going to be doing a lecture and I say lecture, but it's a lot more fun than that. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to be sharing production stories, behind the scene things, kind of talk about why it's so big in our pop culture. So if you're a fan of Jaws, you do not want to miss this. And if you're just a casual person, you might want to just learn what's going on, because there's a lot of information coming out on this summer 50th anniversary of the film. It's going to get a wide release in theaters later in the summer. So maybe brush up on your Jaws info and trivia and come join us on June 28th for our Jaws 50th anniversary discussion.
JoeFortunato.net. JoeFortunato.net. Joe, as always, my friend, thanks for taking time. I know your schedule's packed. We'll do it again next Friday.
I look forward to it. See you then.